Welcome to season 14 of the Parenting Aces podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Stone, and this week, Swupnil Sahai of SwingVision rejoins us to share with us some exciting new features to the platform. And I'm super excited to have him back on because, as you know, I'm a huge fan of SwingVision. I'm a huge fan of their electronic line calling, of their ability to compress video to allow families to record matches, for players to use those recordings with their coaches to analyze their game and plan their training moving forward from each match. And I think it is just such an amazing platform. And I'm always happy to have Swupnil on because I know I'm going to learn something new. Just to let y'all know, you should be sure to check out our discounts page on our website on parentingaces.com. Search community discounts or scroll all the way down to the bottom. On the bottom right, you'll see the link to the community discounts page. We have a nice little discount for swing there for you. We also have some new merch on the website. Our old merch wasn't doing that great, so I got some better hats, some better shirts, and those are now available in our online shop on parentingaces.com. We've got men's and women's. We've got Nike hats that are full colored embroidered with our logo, shirts full color embroidered with our logo. So I hope you will take a look at that and consider repping the brand for us at your next event. Now, I would love for you to sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with Swupnil Sahai of SwingVision. Swupnil, welcome back. Great to see you. And I'm super excited to share with the Parenting Aces community all the new developments that are happening with SwingVision. I think I mentioned to you, I ran into George Opalka when I was in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, and he was kind of bringing me up to speed a little bit, but I'm so excited.
No, yeah, thank you for having me again. It's always fun talking to you. And yeah, George is just always out and about. So I feel like he's becoming a little famous in terms of he's on the ground.
Well, I don't know if I ever told you this, but he and his wife Lynn were some of my earliest Parenting Aces interviews at
Oh
the
wow.
US Open Juniors, like the very first year I was there. And
Oh no way.
so we go back a long way. Riley was, a kid, he
Of
was
course.
14, 15, I guess, at the time, and already well over 6 feet tall at that point.
Yeah,
So
already a serve bot from that age, I'm sure.
yeah. All right, let's jump in. First of all, I want you, for our audience that isn't familiar with SwingVision, can you just kind of give us the elevator pitch as to what this is
Yeah.
and why it is important for junior tennis parents and junior tennis players, as well as coaches and college coaches to know about?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general for tennis players, coaches, SwingVision's the best, I'd say, technology solution at least for tracking, sharing, and improving your game. And the way it works is you download the app onto your phone, you put your phone up behind you on the court. So typically you attach it on top of the fence. We have this like selfie stick, that type of device called a swing stick that makes it really easy to do that. Just standing on the ground, you can like hook it onto the back of the fence. You get this nice angle that's very similar to what you'd see on broadcast TV. And then basically the app will record your entire match. It'll remove all the time in between the points. So you just have to watch back the actual match play. And then it also catalogs every single thing. So like every forehand, every backhand, every serve. And so you can, afterwards say like, show me every serve that I hit in the net. And it'll just show you like just those shots. So it's really easy to like go back and look at specific shots and outcomes. And then it's also tracking the ball. So it's telling you the speed of the ball and like where is the ball landing and what's your accuracy, like what's your first serve percentage, what's your second serve percentage. So basically you get access to all the same data as a pros as well, in addition to that great like video analysis. But I think what people really find is just watching yourself on video and especially looking at like specific points or specific shots is just such a fast way to improve your game. And it's personally kind of the main way I try to constantly improve my game these days. Especially my serve is like one that I'm working on. But yeah, we see lots of juniors using it. If you go to like big tournaments, you'll typically see these swing sticks hung up on the fence, and you'll see a phone at the top. So they're using SwingVision to do that. And then we have over 100 Division 1 to Division 3 college teams using SwingVision as well. So they'll go and record all those dual matches. They'll typically use iPad minis because they want the players to watch the match like on the ride home from like an away game. So it's pretty fun. But the college players love it as well for that. And yeah, it's just a great tool for like improving your game, and then you can share those highlights with your friends and family too. So it's just a fun way to kind of relive those moments as well. But I think for anybody who's really trying to improve, it's probably the best tech out there to do that.
And my favorite thing about it is the electronic line calling that is now being tested at junior tournaments around the country.
Yeah.
I have been at some of these tournaments in SoCal and seen it in action, seen you in action at the events as well.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what's coming with the electronic line calling? I know the last time we spoke, you guys were trying to get that next level of certification through the ITF so that it could be more widely used. Can you kind of bring us up to speed there?
Yeah, so this the other feature set that I didn't mention is the line calling, and today you can't like technically like use that on your own in a sanctioned match. You can use it if you're playing for fun or you're on the practice court. You can like challenge a call from your Apple Watch. But basically, what we've built is a whole new system for tournaments and leagues. And basic idea is there's a phone on the fence, but there's also an iPad near the net post that you can walk up to challenge calls. And so we did a pilot with USTA SoCal last year. So we officiated over 500 matches with SwingVision, and so all those matches had an iPhone on the fence and an iPad right there for players to challenge. So it was received really well. And now, in order for us to kind of roll this out to like every section and every country, we have to get it certified through the ITF, which is the same organization that certifies Hawkeye and all those other solutions. So it's not at the same accuracy as Hawkeye. We're going for a slightly lower level. It's called the silver level rather than the gold. But silver is kind of the level that they deem is good enough for like a national level event. And so, yeah, it's basically a series of accuracy tests that we have to do with them, kind of independently verify the accuracy. And then they'll also do some live tests at some actual tournaments, which is like what we've already been doing basically for the last year. So we'll just have to do that with their supervision as well. And they'll want to see like how the system performs in like real reuse and like tricky lighting conditions, outdoor, indoor, all that stuff. So yeah, it's a process we have to go through with them. We've kind of just started that process with them. One update we're making is in order to provide like the best accuracy possible, we're actually going to be setting up two phones, so like one on each side of the court. And the setup is still like really simple. It's still super cost effective compared to any other solution out there, but it's kind of helpful to have that extra redundancy because there are situations maybe where the ball is like blocked by the player. And so, we did have situations like that where the system just couldn't make a call, and we don't want to be in that position. We want to always be able to make a call and make it as accurate as possible. So that's why we're kind of rolling out this two-camera system now. And so, yeah, we actually started doing some pilots, or I guess I should say like shadow tests with the ITA for college tennis. And so those have gone really well. The next step is to go through some accuracy tests with that with the ITF, and then we'll do some pilots hopefully in the fall with some college tournaments, as well as USTA tournaments both in SoCal and Florida. So those are the two sections that we've been working with now this year. So yeah, so there's a lot that still needs to be done, but we're kind of pushing full steam ahead there. And so, that's going to be definitely a little bit different experience for juniors and just players in general. You won't have to set it up yourself. The tournament would set it up for you actually. And they'll have their own devices, but you'll still get access to your video after because you can tag yourself in the recording and all that. So if you're an avid SwingVision customer, like you'll still get that same experience after. But what will be different is on the court, you can actually challenge calls, which is gonna be really fun. What we've seen is it just results in a much calmer atmosphere and significantly less cheating and just significantly less bad calls, whether it's like intentional or not. So I think it just improves the game for everybody. And even spectators too, like parents.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I can attest to that being on the ground at some of these events, that there is a much more relaxed atmosphere. The kids have reported to me, and I'm sure to lots of other people, that they walk onto the court with a lot less anxiety because they know they're going to play a fair match. And the presence of the line calling technology on court really does make players kind of take a beat before making a very close call to make sure that they're calling accurately. And at first, there was a little pushback, especially on the parent side. But I think once they saw their kids really able to go out there and play more freely, even the parents understood that this was a big boon for junior tennis. And, as you and I have talked about, the accuracy level of these line calls is actually higher than the human eye.
Yeah.
So the parents that were at first a little leery about it, saying, oh, it's just not accurate enough. Well, turns out it is.
Yeah, there's definitely been skepticism sometimes because it's like, how can a phone do so well? But really, it comes down to like a couple things. But one is like your eye, human eye, sees around 24 to 30 like frames per second of equivalent. But these phones are processing at like 60 frames per second, and then also, it's like high definition video, and you can see the ball like really clearly and much faster. And I mean, your eye also it's tough because like you're trying to play as well and you're focusing on the game. And yes, your eye is on the ball, but like your eye isn't necessarily on the lines as clearly, right? And so it's just tough, and like the ball moves really quickly. And so yeah, I'll play all the time, and I use the line challenge feature on my Apple Watch when I'm playing just casually with friends. I just did it last night, and there's like so many times where I'm like pretty sure the ball was out, and then I check it and like, it was actually just clipped the line, it was in. And it's just like human eyes are just not that great at seeing the ball because it is moving really fast, even if you're trying to be honest. So yeah, it's
For sure.
surprising, but that's where technology's come, and it's only getting better. It's only getting cheaper, so it's pretty exciting time, I think, for us for it.
I love it. I love it. Let's jump into the newest feature of SwingVision, which is coach reviews. And I want to have you kind of tell us a little bit about what this is and why you guys decided to incorporate this into your technology.
Yeah, so coach reviews is a really interesting new area for us because it's the first time we've actually built brand new software and tools to help coaches. But ultimately, this is going to be an incredible benefit for players too. And it was really inspired by really famous coaches like JY, who were already kind of doing something like this, where basically their students would go out, they'd play a match, they'd record it with SwingVision, and then they'd send the video back to their coach to have them review it. But it was very kind of fragmented. Like the coach would watch it on SwingVision, but then they'd like type out some notes on like Google Docs or something like that. Maybe they'd do like a screen recording, and then they have to like share all that information back. But then as a student, you have to kind of like have a SwingVision window open and then have like the screen recording maybe open, or like the Google Docs, and you're kind of going back and forth, and the Google Doc says, oh yeah, go to the 4015 points. You got to go like find that point, and then like, okay, now I have the context of like what you're talking about. And it was just like this really fragmented experience, but it was cool to see that like coaches and students were already using SwingVision for sort of remote feedback. Um, and so we started to get a lot of people telling us that they're using it this way, but it's like not the best experience. It's kind of clunky. And so we thought, what if we just put it all together directly into SwingVision? And that's what coach reviews is that you record just as you normally do, but now you just, at a push of a button, you can submit that video to a coach. That coach can annotate, they can draw on that video, they can leave comments with timestamps. They can do a screen recording all within SwingVision without having to leave, without having to use some other tool, some other software. So it's just really convenient for a coach. They can just sit there and do it all in one place. And then you as a student, when you get to review that feedback, it's all in one place again. So you can see those comments. They're all within the SwingVision platform. You can actually, it's really cool. You can go down and like click to any comment and the video will just automatically jump to what that comment is talking about. And so it's really easy to like connect the feedback with the video. And then the screen recording, if they do a screen recording, is also embedded in there, and so you can see like if they're making drawings, like what were they talking about there, and just go through kind of their dictation of the narrative. So yeah, it's just this like really nice seamless experience. And what's cool is technically any coach actually can sign up to use this new platform today. So you can actually become a coach on our coach review marketplace, and you can share a link to your coach profile with your students. They can start submitting videos to you right away. So that's already available actually today for any coach. But then we have a public marketplace, which is sort of where we're exposing sort of like the very, very best coaches to everybody. And so this is like any public, any general SwingVision customer if they want to submit a video to somebody they don't know, like a coach they don't know, we have like a curated marketplace for them of coaches that we're just exposing to everybody. And so those are coaches that are kind of the most elite coaches from organizations like RSPA, which is previously USPTA, and TPA, which is the Canadian Tennis Coaching Association, Tennis Australia, and then LTA, which is the UK's association. So those four main associations, we've partnered with them to get kind of their very best coaches, and also the coaches who are also like already really familiar with SwingVision. They're like very handy with technology. They're familiar with how to use this kind of software. And so we're steadily bringing in more and more coaches from those organizations to build out the marketplace. And so if you go today to submit a video, those will be the coaches that you'll see, those main ones that we've curated. But if you already work with an existing coach, you can just have them sign up, and you can easily submit videos just to your existing coach too. So it kind of works, whatever way you prefer to do it.
So with the marketplace, there's an added cost, but with your personal coach, is that included in your SwingVision membership, or is that also an additional cost?
So there's actually no additional cost really either way. It's just more whatever the coach wants to charge. So the coach can
Oh,
set their price actually. So
okay.
yeah, so you can charge I think as little as like $40 for like a coach review, or you could charge up to like $150. So as a coach, you kind of set your price. We definitely are encouraging coaches to set a lower price initially, at least if they're just starting on the marketplace, just so they can kind of build up some demand and some feedback from students as well and ratings. But they might increase their price over time as people see the value in it. But yeah, it's really up to coaches actually, like how they want to set the price. So basically, like coach sets the rate, and then you just pay that rate, and then you can see what everybody's rate is. You can see any ratings they've gotten from students who've given feedback, kind of like on Uber, right? So it's kind of similar to that. Um, but yeah, it's an excellent platform for coaches, and it just enables them to reach a lot more students. And then as a student, if you are maybe like, let's say, a junior athlete who doesn't have access to the best coaching, like now you can have access to that really good coaching, no matter where you live, whether in the US or any other part of the world. So that's pretty exciting. But then if you do already have access to really great coaching, you can now take that to the next level and make it really easy for your existing coaches to review your matches when you're like out on the road and they're not obviously traveling with you everywhere. So it's a really convenient way to do that too.
And I mean, what a great revenue stream for coaches too, to, be able to earn some money, not have to put the wear and tear on their bodies being on court
Totally.
actually. And I mean, this is an issue, right? There, as parents, we often complain that our child's coach doesn't travel to tournaments because they lose out on too much revenue at home, or it's too
Yeah.
expensive for the family to have the coach go. Now the coach has access to the match right away as soon as it's finished,
Yep.
can offer that feedback in pretty close to real time.
Yeah.
The student can watch, learn from that before their next match. So what an incredible way to get coaching on the road.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. I think that's where we're going to see it used a lot within in the junior market probably. And as long as you have access to like good Wi-Fi on the road, like at their hotel or whatever it is, like get that video uploaded and they can review it right away. And then I mean, I think we'll get it to a point we'll start seeing players where they'll play a match and then they'll be able to get feedback before the next day, before their next match. So it's going to be a really tight feedback loop, but it's pretty exciting time. But yeah, this basically will enable that. As you said, coaches can stay where they are, but still keep track of their students, provide feedback. And then it's also really nice, like if you, as a coach, like you just sometimes you have rainy days and just all your business is gone that day. It's like, what are you going to do? But now you have access to like all the students on our platform, and we have like tens of thousands of active customers around the world, recording every single day. So there's just like so much opportunity for coaches on this platform, which is really exciting. And we're hoping to also open up the marketplace to just all coaches eventually, but kind of initially starting with that kind of curated list. But as you start to make a name for yourself on the platform with your existing students, you start getting good feedback. I think there's a path for any coach to be kind of exposed to that public marketplace and get access to all of our students. So I think that's really exciting opportunity there too for coaches.
I love that. And I'm just, my wheels are turning as you're talking. And I'm thinking it's summer right now. A lot of kids are going to, academies to train. They're traveling overseas to go train for short periods of
Hmm.
time. And, to be able to record those training sessions, even if it's not tournament play, even if it's just
Yeah,
drills and
totally.
things like that, send them back to their coach at home and get feedback between the coach. And I've talked about this before. When my son went to Spain to train when he was in high school, he was constantly texting his coach back home at the end of every day. We did this today. I really want
Mm,
to incorporate this in our training once I get back. And now you've got the video piece to link to that,
totally.
and the coach can ask questions in real time. And rather than relying on having to recall and
Yeah,
rely on your memory to explain what was happening, the
totally.
student will then be able in real time to just show the coach.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's huge too. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think any practice session too. Like I think we're seeing so far we've seen a lot of matches being submitted, but I think you could submit like any practice session, any like clinic that you do, even if you're just going out and hitting some serves, like doing a serve practice session, like that's even something that, I think is worth trying to get a coach review on because that's just so specific and you have a high volume of serves there that they could look at. So yeah, it's kind of just however you want to use it, but really any sort of recording that you do within SwingVision, you can submit this. So it's pretty exciting.
Are you thinking that this is going to kind of expand into the college recruiting side of things where you've got the college coaches on the platform as well
Yeah.
and the students can submit video to them directly? Or is
Yeah,
that already happening?
it hasn't happened yet. We have had some discussions internally about that, trying to get some college coaches on. It is tough because like they're also so busy during the season. But there is like an interesting opportunity maybe during like the summer period where they're like a little bit more off, and that could be kind of an interesting time for them to offer their services on the platform, and that could be a really nice organic way for juniors to be able to get exposure directly to these college coaches. So I think
I'm
there's
just
maybe an
thinking
opportunity.
with all the budget cuts that are
Yeah,
happening in
true.
college tennis right now,
Yeah,
a lot of college coaches are seeing their travel budgets slashed and they're
yeah,
not able to get out to all these tournaments that they typically would travel to.
totally.
This has been going on for a while now,
Mm,
and what a cool way for them to get to see these kids in action
yeah.
without having to spend the limited funds that they do have.
Yeah, that's such a good point too. Yeah, right. You have like, Kalamazoo and like the girls' hardcourt nationals and all that stuff. Like those are
Yeah.
prime location typically for coaches to go out, but now it's like you could just send your match from there to a coach. That would be super cool. Yeah, so I think it's all evolving, but that's definitely been a big discussion internally of trying to make sure we can bridge that gap too. And I do think like we do have ambitions to make a really great recruiting platform at some point, and I think we kind of, we're sort of building all the pieces for that right now. But you're already seeing lots of juniors using SwingVision and recording their matches out when they're going for a tournament. So it feels like the content is already sort of there. We just got to make it really easy for them to be able to like share that to a coach that they're trying to get recruited by, and sort of put together like a portfolio, right? So I think there've been other services that have done like a pretty good job of that already. But I think if we can just do it again, all within SwingVision, then it's just like a lot easier, right? And it's just like one tap. So that's kind of the dream there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see in the meanwhile. I think the college angle is definitely quite interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, we've got the electronic line calling, we've got the ITF certification in the works, we've got this new coach marketplace happening. What else is coming at Swing? I feel like y'all are just, your wheels are always turning and there's something new every time I run into you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think those have been like the main focus. Like I mentioned, I think we're gonna try to do something for the purposes of recruiting as well. Probably launch that at some point next year. And so, that's what we're trying to build towards. Another thing we're trying to build towards is like real-time feedback as well on the court. So, let's say you're hitting some serves or hitting against a ball machine and maybe you have like your AirPods in and you could actually get like real-time feedback from like an AI coach or something. So
Ooh.
I think that's something we'd like to build eventually. I don't think it like would replace a coach, obviously, but I think it could be something that just gives you some of that feedback in real time, and then maybe it's just kind of specific things that your coach wants you to work on. And they can almost make like imagine like your coach can make like an AI of themselves, and that's just like there on the court, and then your coach is actually like constantly with you, basically, no matter what session you're doing, and they know what to focus on because they have the context of like those coach reviews or something. So I think there's a cool opportunity there, I think, for you to get like just constant improvement ability. And that's like one thing with SwingVision today. Like it's great, it's a great tool to improve, but a lot of the improvement is still kind of like self-diagnosed. You have to kind of like figure out yourself when you're watching your video, like, oh, okay, like that's what I did wrong, right? So I think if we can take the next step and just tell you like what you what you need to work on, I think that makes it even easier and then makes it more accessible for like beginner players and all that. So yeah, those are some of the other things that we have, but I think those will probably more come into next year. Um, but yeah, the biggest push right now internally is probably the line calling, I'd say. We're really
Yeah.
trying to just get that because that's such a big problem. College tennis, junior tennis, like every level, even adult, if you play adult league tennis, which a lot of parents do, I know I've ran into some issues in my in my league this year, so it's always a problem everywhere. But we're really excited for that, and I think actually the two camera system is going to be pretty exciting. We're going to also build it so that individuals could set it up that way too. So imagine if you're playing like let's say USTA League, like you and your opponent could both like set up your phones and they'll like talk to each other and do like line calling in real time. So I think that's a interesting opportunity to scale it even further beyond just like junior tennis. But
Very cool.
but yeah, so we'll see. But there's always, as you said, always lots going on. But
Yeah.
that's the
I
big.
was actually I was at one of the USTA SoCal Pro Series events last week, and they were using one of your competitors at that event, who just got their silver
Yeah,
certification. And I was talking with the tournament staff, and one of the big challenges and one of the things that Swing has continued to do so well is pricing.
yeah,
And this other system is much more expensive,
totally.
so unlikely to show up at the junior level because I just don't think tournaments are going to be able to afford to have it.
Yeah.
How front of mind is pricing for you guys as you continue to develop the platform?
Yeah, it's super important for us. I mean, I think we're always trying to look ways to get our costs down so that we can offer our solution at the most affordable price point. Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the other ones that there's actually a couple now that have gotten the silver certification, and they're all like significantly more expensive, like sometimes on the order of almost 10 times as much. Um,
Right.
so it's like not even close, you know. I think those solutions have a place in the market for, maybe like really high-end facilities that are like indoors, running specific events. I think this is a place for all these solutions in the market. But I think, what's so nice about SwingVision, as you said, is like it's just so affordable. Like the hardware for everything, even with the two camera system, the hardware for everything is like less than $1,000 a quart. That's just a one-time cost. And then in terms of like the software, we've been charging like SoCal like around $5 a match, which is like super affordable. So like on an ongoing basis, it's like quite minimal, and that's like something that like any player or parent will easily pay. And it's basically like just paying an extra $5 for a tournament entry fee. Like that's it. So it's like nothing. So um,
Yeah, in my opinion, that is just such a no-brainer.
yeah,
And, I've polled our audience, and to a T, every single person is willing to pay a little bit more in tournament fees
totally.
in order to have a more fair environment for their players to play in. And so I think this is like, yeah, let's do this. And I want to just appeal to those of you in the audience that are tournament directors or potential tournament
Hmm.
directors. If you provide this as an added benefit to your event, you are going to see your entries max out. Like,
Totally.
no question.
Yeah.
If there's a choice between two tournaments on a given weekend, one offering SwingVision electronic line calling and
Yeah.
one not offering any kind of electronic line calling,
Totally.
I guarantee you the one with the line calling is going to win out every single time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just inevitable. It's the future, right? And I think we saw this happen at the professional events where it started at a few tournaments and then eventually kind of just went everywhere.
I mean, we're even
So,
seeing Wimbledon. There are no
yeah,
more Lions people at Wimbledon,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know? So crazy.
exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah, so, it's yeah, I mean, that's for Wimbledon such a traditional historic event to do that is pretty huge. And line calling, those linesmen are always like, such an iconic part of the experience. But that is the way the technology moves, and I think ultimately the players prefer that. And I think also USTA is going to also be, allowing tournament organizers to charge a bit more if they offer this, because they know that it's going to be a better experience, and they know that like the tournament organizers also need to be able to kind of recoup that cost, right? So I think USTA is quite committed to allowing those things to happen as well, and approving those kinds of changes to the fee structures and all that. So yeah, I think it'll become eventually like a no-brainer for the organizer as well, hopefully. And then obviously for the parents it already is. But yeah, it's an exciting time. But yeah, that's kind of why when we started Swing Vision from the beginning, like the very first decision we made was like we're gonna do this from the phone. Like there were already so many players in the market at that time, that used fixed cameras on the court, and they would install it on the court. And that's basically what these solutions are still doing today, these other competing solutions. They're all still fixed cameras on the court, which like has its advantages in terms of potentially like accuracy and things like that. But ultimately, like if we can get to that silver threshold of accuracy, then it's kind of a moot point, at that. And
Yeah.
so I think for us, it's like, let's just get accurate enough for that threshold that it's like significantly better than the human eye, which it is now. And let's just get that cost as low as possible. And I think by just using like phones, which are only getting cheaper, like the hardware just gets cheaper and cheaper each year. I think that just like helps a lot. And I think what's also really cool, I mean, I don't know how much credit people give to this, but like we're the only American company that's doing this. I mean, all of the competitors are from other countries. So I think like it's a really nice like homegrown solution, I would say. So we've always been like fully like American company, like all based here. Like we're using Apple hardware, which is an American company. So I think like I don't know, there's something to be said about that too, I feel like. But I think it's a nice story, I think, for our sport too, that like this innovation continues to come from here. And I'm pretty confident we'll provide like the best experience, but also at the lowest cost too, which and then I think in addition to the cost too, is just the scalability. Like to be able to set up our system, it's so fast. Like you just hook on the sticks and like you're good to go. There's no like plugging into like an outlet. Like so many outdoor courts don't even have outlets. And then there's like all these weather conditions you have to worry about. All of our hardware is like weatherproof, waterproof, rainproof, like all that. If there's a rain delay, like you don't need to take the devices all back inside somewhere. You can just actually just leave them outside. We've actually had this happen at some SoCal events. So just that there's just so many like various situations like this that are going to come up. It's kind of like a wild west out there, especially with outdoor courts. And I think that's where Swing Vision like really shines, too. So it's exciting, and I think just the scalability too from the logistics perspective. I think this is something that probably like players and tournament players wouldn't notice this as much, but if you're a tournament organizer that's used like one of the other solutions, or you've used Swing Vision, you'll see that's a night and day difference in terms of logistics. Like for Swing Vision, we can set up like 14, 15 courts with like 3 people. That's it. But for pretty much all the other solutions, you're gonna need like a couple people per court. Like it's like the opposite ratio, you know? So it's just like so efficient. And again, that's gonna then translate to like lower cost and just like less headaches and all that. So yeah, no, it's pretty exciting. It's kind of remarkable that we've been able to do this with just phones, but which I know people always a little skeptical about. But it's kind of like you just need to use it in one or two matches, and then you'll kind of become a believer, hopefully. But
Oh,
that's all it'll
absolutely,
take.
absolutely. Or just go see it in action, and
Yeah,
you're,
yeah, true.
I
That's true.
mean,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. Swupnil, for people that are interested in getting Swing Vision for themselves, first of all, can you tell us how they go about doing that?
Yeah, so I mean, the best way to do that is going to be through your link. So I think you'll have a link for them in the notes. And so
Yep.
your link is going to get them that 1 year of Swing Vision Pro, which is like our main subscription tier that gets you all of like 30 recording hours a month and all of the video analysis functionality. And that'll also include the swing stick for free. So normally the swing stick's $100. You actually get that for free through your link. And so you basically save like 50% if you use your link, essentially, when you take that
Love
into
that.
account. So that's a huge savings. And so that's the best way to get started. And then, once they use your link, they'll go through the process of like downloading the app and all that stuff. We are iPhone only, I'll mention right now. It's not a big deal for most juniors in the US. 90% of kids use iPhones. But yeah, we're iPhone only right now. We are going to go to Android hopefully next year. But yeah, that's just one caveat to keep in mind. And then yeah, in terms of like the coach review stuff, you'll kind of see that naturally as you go through your recordings. You'll see like a little banner within the app itself, they'll say, hey, submit this video to a coach. But if you're curious about learning more about it now, it's just on our website. So if you go to swing.vision/coaching/marketplace, you can actually just see our marketplace publicly. You can see all the coaches that are on there. You can even see what an example coach review looks like. So there's actually an example session there with some actual feedback. So you can see like what those comments look like and what the screen recording looks like. So you get a sense of what you're going to get out of it.
And we'll have a link to that as well in the show notes. So,
yeah. Please.
You don't have to remember that one.
Yeah, you don't have to remember that one. It's a little bit longer. So, and then that's also, if you just go to swing.vision/coaching, that's where you can go to sign up as a coach. So if you want to just become a coach, you want to start using the coach review platform to be able to start providing feedback to your students, you can already do that today through that link. And it's free to sign up. We don't charge anything for that. You can just go in and just start getting lessons going, essentially remote lessons.
Love it.
So
Love it. And for our tournament directors out there, if they are interested in bringing your ELC to their events, what's the best way for them to start that ball rolling?
Yeah, I mean, for that, the best is to reach out to our enterprise team. So we have an enterprise email, enterprise@swing.vision. So if you're interested in learning more about that and getting ELC at your events, doing like a pilot with us, we'd love to chat with you more about that and just walk you through kind of what it looks like, what's required. But yeah, as we've been talking about on this call, it's the most affordable solution by a mile. So, definitely reach out to us and we'd love to chat with you. We aren't certified yet, but we're going through that process. Our goal is to get the certification by early next year. So, hopefully ahead of like next summer, we'll be in really good shape that anybody in the world could use SwingVision for ELC. So it's going to be a big year next year, I think, for tournaments all around the world. We're just pushing as fast as we can to get that certification. But until then, we're happy to pilot with whoever wants to try it out. And we've already done it with SoCal and Florida. So there's no stopping you if you want to try it too.
Absolutely. And for the parents, feel free to share this information with your favorite tournament directors. Yeah. Kind of give them a little nudge to reach out and maybe pilot something. There's a very low upfront cost to test this out at an event, right? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. So I would love personally to see nothing more than SwingVision ELC at every junior tournament across the US, across the world. But for now, we're gonna keep watching SoCal and Florida and see how things progress there. And fingers crossed that silver certification comes for you guys sooner rather than later.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it for sure.
All right, what else? Anything else I've forgotten to ask you that we need to touch on?
Actually, I totally forgot to mention one other thing, which is probably more relevant to your, there's always one more thing, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be more relevant to your existing customers, probably, or our existing customers who are your audience. But so currently with the swing stick, I have it right here, but basically it's like a selfie stick that clips on the fence, and then you have to like set your phone to the right angle so it can see the court. But one kind of friction point that people have mentioned is that like it's a little tough to set that angle because you kind of take a guess and then you'll put it up and then maybe it's not right, so you have to like adjust it a little bit and then put it up again. So we are building a new version of the swing stick that has a motor in it. And so basically it's going to be like completely automatic. So you just put it up on the fence and then the motor will automatically tilt and like find the court for you. And so it's just gonna like I've been using a prototype recently and the setup is like night and day. It's like so easy. And you just put it up and it just like finds the court. It's so cool. And I think that's going to be so important, not just for just general players who are trying to set up at tournaments, because you'll just save a couple extra minutes, like every minute counts. But even in terms of just being able to scale this out, across the world for like line calling, making sure everybody has the right setup on every court, this will sort of standardize that setup and kind of remove any room for error. So, if you're a tournament organizer or, just running tournaments, like, and you're worried about not being tech savvy, like we're trying to make it so you don't have to worry about the tech at all. And it's like, just stick in your phone, put it up on the fence, and like it'll take care of the rest. You don't have to worry about it. And so that's really our goal. And then that way everybody has like a really nice experience as a player, but then also as an organizer, again, your logistics are easier and you don't have to worry about the tech. So
do we have a time frame for that new
so hoping to start shipping to customers early this fall, actually. So just in a couple months, we're really close. We're actually just ramping up production right now. We just secured like a factory for this. It's the first time that we're doing like electronics in the swing stick. So there's some additional things to work through there, but it's pretty exciting though. Yeah, so it's coming really soon, just a few months away.
Love it. I have to say, I just bought a gimbal for my phone for when I'm out at events because my photography skills are so terrible and my phone's always shaking and whatever. And I got this gimbal that does exactly what your new swing stick does. Like you
Yeah,
turn it on and it finds the position. I don't have to do anything
yeah,
except hold on to the handle and it self adjusts. It's so cool.
yeah,
So it's a big game changer for sure.
yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a good analogy.
I am thrilled to hear about all of these updates. I cannot wait to see you at the next event, maybe down in San Diego at Girls Hard Courts. Are y'all going to be there this year?
We will be there. I'm not sure if I'll be going personally, but Andre from our team will be there. So look
Okay,
out for
cool.
Andre. I mean, you'll see the Swing Vision
I
jacket.
always
Same thing
look
I'm
out
wearing.
for Andre.
So he'll be there. Speaking of college coaches, he was a former college coach, so now he's works on our customer experience team. But yeah, so he'll be out at Hardcourts, and then I think George will probably go to Kalamazoo. So yeah, so as always, so we have all that going in the works. But yeah, we should have an event in a tournament in SoCal coming up soon that's going to use the two camera system for the first time. So I'll let you know about that. I'll definitely be going to that one. So it would be great to see you there. But
Yeah,
we're
awesome.
yeah,
And to my audience, if y'all aren't following us on Instagram, now is the time to follow at Parenting Aces and at SwingVision on Instagram because when I run into Swupnil, we always do a reel from the event, and
for sure.
it's always fun to catch up with him live and in person. So I look forward to seeing you, and I feel like this proud mother hen, like watching this company because when you and I first connected
Yeah,
was at the very beginning,
yeah, it's crazy.
and it was all about just recording matches at that point. And the technology, the developments, the partnerships, the reach. I mean, you guys have just done a bang up job, and I'm so proud of y'all. I think it's just so cool and so exciting, and can't wait to see what's next for y'all.
Yeah, well, thank you, and just thank you for the long time support. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think you were one of the first, if not the first, podcasts that we ever went on when no one knew our name. So really appreciate it. All the support in the early days and now still. So, we'll just keep pushing and keep going, and hopefully there's a lot more things to come. But for now, laser focus on the task at hand, which is solving line calling. And I think everyone's gonna really love what we put out there. So yeah, excited to keep going. And yeah, not possible without your support. So thank you.
Thank you. And to my audience, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on Parenting Aces.